What's up, Amazon sellers? Q4 2020 is now finished and it's time to give you an update on my road to £1 million. I'm going to go through everything that I learned. I'm going to share with you my actual revenue, what I thought I was going to do and the difference, and I'll share with you what I learned over that period. So stay tuned. Oh, and I'm going to give you my profits as well. Okay, so if you don't know who I am, my name is Thomas Parkinson and I've been selling on Amazon now for about 4 years. And quite simply, probably about 6 months ago in Hanoi, I had a change. I thought, hey, I want to mix things up. My life had got a bit boring selling on Amazon. I wanted a goal to achieve, and what was that goal? It was to achieve £1 million over an 18-month period. I'll drop a link to the video up there. Now, today's video is a follow-up from that. It's basically to talk about during that video back then, I forecasted what I was going to do, my plan for that whole 18 months. And today I'm going to take out that quarter, Q4 2020, talk about what I actually did or what I thought I was going to do. And then I will go through all that actually happened, revenues, profits. And then also as well, after that, I will then reflect and I'll tell you about maybe what went wrong, what went well, and also what I'm going to be doing going forward to support my journey, and hopefully you can learn something. Okay, so what am I actually going through in this video? Well, number one, I'll give you a quick rundown of what is the road to 1 million, what is the challenge that I set myself. Number two, I'm going to jump on the computer, I'll give you a live screen share of exactly what I thought I was going to do, my forecast, and then we'll actually talk about the profits, and I'll show you all them in detail, and I'll talk about what's happened. And then number three, I'm going to tell you about my reflections on that period, Q4 2020, and give you a hint about what we're doing going forward. So let's get into it now. What is the road to 1 million? What is this challenge that I've set myself? Well, quite simply, if you haven't watched the video, and I'd really recommend watching it. If you don't know about me, I pretty much live and travel the world. At the time, I was in Vietnam, and I've been running my business for a number of years, and it was good. But we were probably doing like 35K, and I was just getting a bit bored. You know, I said it in the video, is the goal you just come to work? And you know what? That is how I felt. I was like, what am I achieving in my life? What am I doing? And that was so important. So quite simply, I set a goal over the next 18 months, Q3 2020 up to the end of 2021, I want to do £1 million. Now, interesting enough, I also set another sub goal to say that if I could, I'd like to see if I could do that in 12 months as well over the 2021 period. But what did I do? I basically broke down every single section, every single month by month, and I basically wrote a budget out, a planner to say what I think my revenues would be, how I think I'd reinvest my profits, what my payroll costs would be, and everything. A couple of things. Number one is I have a team. I have a team of 6 VAs who run my business for me. Now, I probably work anywhere between about 3, maybe up to 8 hours a week, but most of the time it's 3. That's it. They do everything. I have a purchasing manager who does all the purchasing. I have a team of 4 sourcers who do the sourcing, and then I have an admin assistant who does all my admin, and we use a prep center in the UK. Pretty much last year, I spent 40 days in the UK, so I'm completely remote doing this business, and my team does it all for me, and I support them. Now, quite simply, the other one is the fact that there are no rules to this challenge. If I can go get a £10,000 loan that's going to really help my business out, then quite simply, I'm going to get a £10,000 loan. This is not going to be, I'm going to show you how I can make £1 into £1 million in 10 days. No, not at all. This is quite simply, I'm here to make money, I'm here to grow my business, and I'm here to do it in a way that I enjoy, that is fun. And that is pretty much why I'm doing it, because number one, I want a challenge, but number two is the fact that I still want to enjoy my life, travel the world, and maybe not work a full 40 hours, probably do like 3 to 5 hours a week. I'm pretty happy that works. That is my road to 1 million. That is a challenge. It's about creating a lifestyle business, which is working for me, generating cash, but also as well, giving me freedom to explore and travel the world. Okay, so number two, let's actually jump now onto my computer, and I'm going to give you a walkthrough of what I forecasted, what was the plan, and then also I actually go through the actual results. So what I'll say is I will drop a link down below to a copy of this. So if you want to get a copy of this document, you can see that. That is perfectly fine. And also you can see how I've set it out and maybe use it in your business. That's going to help out. So first things first, what I've just done here is I've just taken the Q4 period from 2020. Now I've just copied over the budgeted revenue and the budgeted figures figures that I thought I was going to be, or forecasted figures that I was going to be achieving over that period. So you can see quite simply here is October, we've got October, November and December, and then I've got like an all figure. Now in the revenue in October, I thought I'd do about 40,000, November would be 47,000, December would be 50,000. I'd probably say December was quite conservative considering that Q4 normally ramps quite up. But quite simply, we're working on about a GP, a gross profit, and this includes things like your prep costs. Obviously it's ex VAT as well, so all my prep's included in that. Anything associated with selling that goods, apart from like labor and admin costs, is going to be included in that GP result. So we're looking at a gross profit of about 12.9%. And if you're talking about ROI wise, it's probably going to be roughly around 25% that you're going to be looking at, about double the GP. Now the payroll costs, obviously I was forecasting about 1.5 thousand, which is my VA costs. I've got other costs of about 500 and going up to 750. And that's kind of things like accountancy fees, software, all the other things just associated with running a business. Then also as well, me, I'm a cost to my business. I know, like 3 hours a week, outrageous. And then also as well, cashback. While cashback, I don't think you should account for into a deal. I do think you should add it into a P&L. Why? Because if the business didn't do the trade it's doing, you wouldn't get the cashback. So it is still part of the business. It's not like the cashback wouldn't happen if the business didn't do the volume of trade it did. And as a result, we get then a net profit figure that delivers, that's the profit we're looking to make. So, and don't get me wrong, the thing which I'm going to say here is that my profits, and I said this in the original thing, in the original video that I created back in Hanoi, was that I don't make much money from my Amazon business. And I'm quite all right with that. Like, I can make a lot more if I wanted to, but I'd have to put more work in. And for me, this is about creating a lifestyle business which gives me money, but it doesn't mean that I'm working so much. So I talked about it 3 hours, maybe 5 hours, maybe 8 sometimes if I'm doing a busy week. But most of the time it's 3 hours. 3 hours a week I'm doing developing my business, supporting my business, and I'm not going to make huge amounts of profits because obviously I have a lot more costs with VAs. And you know what? There's probably a lot of inefficiencies that I could improve, but I'm not too worried about. I'd rather let the team get on with it and they make the profits. Also, the one thing just to consider when you're looking at the net profit figure, do consider that's the net profit to the business. It already takes into account that I've already paid myself £1,500. If you are looking at saying that maybe I would take out solely my net profit and my payroll, you need to add those two together, and that is the business profit. So kind of different way of looking at it, and you can do a lot of things with accounts. So quite here, I'm trying to be as open as I can, but also just explain how I'm breaking the cost down. So October, let's just break down the revenue, the forecast, and all that information. So what are we looking at doing here? What I'm going to do is just kind of change the color so you can see what's going on. So quite simply, on the revenue wise, I thought I'd do 40k. I actually did 70. So massive increase in revenue, really, really good at that. We spent a lot more. But the interesting thing is my profits were just a little bit higher, 5,500 versus 5,100. Why? Because my GP was rubbish and my ROI was rubbish. We were probably tracking at something like 20% ROI, and we should have been hitting around 25 to 30%. And as a result, we did a lot more revenue, but we didn't convert that into profit or gross profit. And as a result, we just didn't make as much money as we should have done given the revenue, but we made more than we thought. Now, cost-wise, what does that equal out? Well, let's show that now. Quite simply, you can see here, I talked about this previously, I've actually hired more VAs than I planned. Why? Because I wanted to grow the revenue, I wanted to grow it faster. That was the goal. So quite simply, I've hired more VAs, and as a result, I've now put in more cost. So I forecasted 1,500, I now did £2,500 worth of cost. In addition to that, my other costs have gone up only by a small amount, kind of extra things. My costs have remained the same, and cashback pretty much on point, £1,027. So happy with that. But what does it mean? Well, quite simply, we made a bit more profit, but we had a lot more costs, i.e. £1,000 increase in payroll because of VAs. And as a result, my net profit should have been 2,685, but it wasn't, it was 2,057. So I didn't make as much money, even though I did more revenue. Now, interesting thing to think about, and what I look at it is, on the short term, on the month, yes, I haven't made as much money, but I've invested in my business with staff, and we're still making money, so I'm pretty happy with that. Let's now have a look at November. we grew again. So 47,865 was the goal, and we did £74,805. Now, quite simply, the one thing you can see here is that obviously the profit is a lot higher, 8,000 versus 6,000. Now, the other interesting thing to see is that gross profit, i.e. the percentage margin that we've done, that had actually improved. We put in a couple of strategies that actually made a big difference, and we saw the benefits of that, and probably a bit of Q4 increase as well. Now, cost-wise, my payroll, again, 2,500, so an additional £1,000 cost there. Other costs are pretty much £20 extra. My costs the same, and cashback pretty much on point, just shy of £1,000. What does that mean? We thought we'd be making £3,400 profit. We actually make £4,600. So really happy with that. Much better than the month before. The gross profit percentage has increased, and as a result, we've converted more of that revenue into profit, which I'm really happy with, which obviously converts to the bottom line, net profit. That means more money in the business. Now, finally, December. What has happened in December? Let's go through that now. I thought I'd be doing 50,000 and I did 64. Now, interesting enough, a thing I will just point out here is we did less in December than we did in November. And I'll come back to that in a second. But the other interesting thing to look at as well is that my GP, my gross profit, has actually increased again. We've gone from 11.28 to 13.35. I'm now beating target. Oh my God, I'm so happy about that. What does that mean? It basically means we convert more of the revenue that we're making into profit. So we thought we'd be making 6,545. We actually made 8,556. So 563, sorry, learn to read. And quite simply, that means we're now more profitable than we budgeted, which is great because we're making more money. Now, cost-wise, so quite simply here, payroll has now gone up, massively up. I thought I'd be doing 1,500. I do 3,900, which is way more. And if you know, you know, but if you don't, you don't know, and I'll explain why in a minute. Now, quite simply, my other costs have increased. We had some other costs involved in that, and that's just around the business, operating where we're growing. I kept my costs the same, and cashback pretty much on point again, nearly £1,000. As a result, we thought we'd do £3,700 worth of profit, or 3,800 nearly worth of profit. We only did 2,900. Why? Well, quite simply, my payroll costs have gone up, and I'll explain why in a minute. And it's something I should have known, but I completely forgot to budget when I wrote it, and it's a really important learning. So let's have a quick look at the summary. Overall, what's gone on? Quite simply, I thought I was going to be doing £140,000. I actually did nearly £210,000 worth of revenue. That is a 50% increase in what I was looking at doing. I love that. That's great. The GP actual, I thought I'd be making £17,000 worth of profit. I actually made 22, which is an increase of 26% on target. But remember, I did 50% more revenue. So I haven't converted as well as I wanted. But what we can see over October, November, December is that GP is improving. And I'll talk about why in a minute. Also as well, payroll costs, wow, they have doubled pretty much versus what I budgeted. Oh, that's stupid me, but I'll explain why. Now, other costs have increased slightly. My costs have been the same. And cashback is pretty much on point, and I'm really happy with that cashback. I forecasted that really well. And what does it all mean? Well, I thought I was going to be making £9,884. What did we end up with? £9,599. Pretty much on point. 3% difference, £300 difference as well. That's pretty much on point. Now, the one question you might kind of be asking is like, what does this all mean? Well, if you were to combine my salaries with the net profits, and if I were to take them all out of the business, what would I actually make? Is quite simply, I thought I was going to make, including my salary, £14,384. I actually made £14,099. So pretty much on point. And if you're going to work that out as per month salary, if I paid it all to myself, I thought I'd be making £4,795 profit myself, but actually I only made £4,700. And you know what? For doing 3 hours a week, traveling the world, running a remote business with a team, maybe sometimes 8 hours a week, but that's rare. Making just shy of 5 grand per month, if you pulled it all out, I'd be very happy with that. And you know what, I am happy with that. I'm really happy with where the business is. I'm happy that we're going in the right direction, and I understand why the costs are and explain why in a minute. But the big thing for me I'm looking at is revenue growth and gross profit growth, i.e. conversion of that margin. That's really happy with me. And what, my God, I only need 1,500 to live off, and potentially I'm making 5,000 that I can pull out every single month. I'm happy with that. So let's jump back now and go through what's actually happened and why it's happened and what you can learn from that as well. Okay, so first things first, before I jump into about the analysis of it, the one thing which I will say, and I said it during the breakdown, is that I run my business on pretty much 3 hours a week. Why? Because I have an amazing, and I do mean amazing, team of VAs, virtual assistants who work in the Philippines, supporting with my business. And what do? They are sourcing, finding deals, they are buying the deals, they are managing all the administration. They're basically just running my business for me. It's amazing. Now, quite simply, if you are looking to do exactly the same thing, the first step that you need to do is to hire your first virtual assistant. And I always recommend a sourcing assistant to find you deals, because that means you can get the deals on autopilot. You can then buy them and start scaling your business quicker. Now, if you are looking for a virtual assistant, I cannot recommend enough the FastTrackFBA VA Academy. Quite simply, it's a service I created whereby we go out, we find the right person who you can trust, who adds value to your business. We interview, we test, we create all the contracts, we train them on the Amazon business, and then they start working for you in your business and you pay for them. They are your employee, and we support you and the VA for 12 weeks to make sure they start getting results that's going to help grow your business. We've got a whole team that are here to support you. Last year in 2020, we hired over 90 VAs for our clients, and quite simply, we had some clients coming back for 5 VAs, and they are now doing 6 figures a month in their Amazon businesses, which is crazy. And they're doing more revenue on the same amount of time that I am, which is like incredible. So if you are interested in getting a VA, growing your Amazon business, check out the FastTrackFBA VA Academy. Have a look down below. I'll drop a link. And hey, even if you've got some questions, you can book in a call with one of my team and just understand if a VA is right for you now, or maybe it's in the future, and when that might be. So have a look at the link down below. That will talk about the FastTrackFBA VA Academy. Let's just kind of recap on Q3. So what I'm going to do now in this is an update. I've got to give you an update on it. So what I'll do is I'll do first things first. I'll give you a recap of what's happened. And I talked about some of the cost problems in there and what's gone on. I'll then also talk about what my business is right now, and then I'll talk about where we're going forward. So first things first, looking back at the P&L for last month. So what can we see? Revenue is growing. I'm really happy with that. Why? We are spending more on deals. I'm super happy with that. Now, that is great. Now, the other one which we looked at was that the GP. This is basically my gross profit, and generally it's about the ROI you get from the products you're selling. That has improved. What have we done? Well, quite simply, we have got my team every single day, and this is my sourcing team, the VAs. They will go into our sales every single day, look at the products they're selling and also the products that are not selling, and they're going to change the pricing rules, change the minimum pricing on our products so that either we can increase the pricing if it's working well, or they'll decrease the price to get the stock moving. Now, quite simply, in my business, by doing this approach, by doing it every single day and getting the whole team involved, not only are they learning about buying and selling deals and actually seeing the selling part of it, we're also seeing that improvement in the ROI. And you saw it in the analysis that I did at the beginning of the October, beginning Q4 period. I had a targeted gross profit of 12.9 and achieved 7.95. That's like 5 percentage points. It's about 10% on your ROI difference. By the end of Q4, I'd been achieving a target, or wanted a target of 12.95. I was actually achieving 13.35. Again, that's probably about a 2 percentage points increase on my ROI, which is massive. It means I make more money from the sales that I'm doing. So really important there. That has grown my business and helped make me more profitable. Now, the other big problem that I had that I didn't forecast, embarrassment, is quite simply that my payroll went up. Now, 2 parts to this. Number 1, I made a strategic investment in to hire more staff quicker into my Amazon business, because we want to grow quicker. Now, so obviously I've got more team than I initially thought, and that's had a cost impact. That's fine, I'm happy with that. But the one thing I didn't do is I forgot to forecast or budget in the 13th month pay. And what is this? Well, quite simply, 13th month pay is in the Philippines, you pretty much pay 1 year's worth of salary to your VAs in December. Now, if they haven't worked a full year, then they'll get paid a percentage. If they worked half the year, they'll get half a year's salary. If they worked a quarter of a year, they'll get a quarter of a year's salary, but as a bonus in December. Now, I know this, I've paid it for many years, but obviously when I wrote the budgets, I forgot to put it in. So obviously when I came to December, I was like, oh, this looks quite good. And then I got to the payment day and I was like, whoa, I forgot that. So really good that we have the profits in the business, but really stupid of me forgetting to budget in that 13th month pay. So if you are hiring VAs, always think about that 13th month pay, super important. And it isn't the ideal time because all your money's tied up in Amazon right then. So just make sure you've got the 13th month pay budgeted and you've got the funds available. Fortunately, we're right. Don't do the same mistake as I have because you think December's going to be amazing and maybe it wasn't. The other thing which I'll probably talk about as well is that what you probably noticed is October went up, November went up, and then December came down. And you're like, why? Well, quite simply, if you don't know, in November, I had a problem. I had a problem whereby my account was kind of suspended for 2 weeks. Amazon wouldn't disperse the money. I couldn't get the payments out. And as a result, what happened? We stopped buying. We stopped buying stock because if I didn't know how long it takes to get my money back out again, I wasn't going to be spending more money on my Amazon business, knowing that I didn't know if I'd ever get it back. So quite simply, we stopped buying for 2 weeks. And as a result, our stock levels ran down in December. So we did about 64,000 in December. We could have done so much more because we stopped buying for 2 weeks. Now, if you're interested in learning about the dark side of Amazon, I'll drop a link to the video up there. Have a look at that dark side of Amazon video. I talk all about that journey, what happened and how it affected my business. So that is really interesting, but it did cause a dip in my Q4 revenues. As a result, December could have been so much higher, maybe even 6 figures. And that is where I want to be, 6 figures in 1 month. Oh my God, that'd be exciting. That is the 3 things I pretty much saw in Q4 last year. Now, right now, where is the business right now? Well, quite simply is I'm still doing roughly 3 hours a week. My purchasing manager is great, but he's working his ass off like you'd never believe. And also as well, what we understand is that he's probably a bit of a bottleneck in the fact that he can't buy enough. He doesn't have enough time in the day. He's working too many hours. So what are we doing going forward? Well, I've talked about this in my monthly updates. Quite simply, we are training up another sourcing VA to be an assistant purchasing manager. They are a purchasing assistant. What's that going to do? Number one, it means that they can buy more stock. So when we need to get those deals in, we can buy them. There's 2 people purchasing now rather than 1. Also, number 2, when my purchasing manager has some time off, I'm not the one purchasing because you know what? I'm just useless. I'm just no. And then number 3 is the fact that it builds in redundancy into my business. So if the worst were to happen, if he's sick or something happens, then my business can still survive and still run without me needing to step in. It just builds in added redundancy. So I really like that. And going forward, that's what we're looking to do. We're just having 2 purchasing people, 4 sourcing VAs, of which 1 can do purchasing, and my admin VA. And we've got a couple of strategies we're looking at into the new year. And also, in addition to that, what am I doing? I'm getting some coaching from some bigger sellers who are kind of giving me ideas about how we can scale our business even more and to become more efficient. But I'll talk about that in the months to come and hopefully give you an update on more revenue, more profits, and can I do Amazon in 2 hours a week? Maybe, don't know, we'll see. But hey, that is a bit of an update on what I've done over the last couple of months. Okay, so that is pretty much it from me today. That is an update on my Q4 journey, and it's been a real roller coaster. I will never ever deny that. But you know what? I still really enjoy doing this business. I love having my team, and I'm still amazed, and I do actually mean amazed by the opportunity available to us right now, and the fact that I can earn £5,000 a month doing 4 hours, 3 hours a week whilst traveling the world, that's just incredible. But what I will say for you is hopefully you've liked this video. If you have, give me a like, give me a thumbs up. That is going to just tell me that I should make more content about it. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. That's just going to let you know when the next video comes out. What I'm also going to do is drop a link around here to a video how to be successful selling on Amazon in 2021. That is going to really help you out in your Amazon journey and hopefully grow to new heights. And hey, you know, maybe you can come join me out here in Mexico, Cancun, the Riviera. It's beautiful right now. But for me, Thomas Parkinson and FastTrackFBA, thank you very much.